so fresh, looking so fresh. When I walk by, breaking their necks. Waiting in line at the team store. Now I'm feeling fly like a condor. Eyes on me when I walk through the door. Man, I wish I bought a couple more. Cause I really love my city. It was worth every penny. If it were at my show, then I know they gon' tip me. Think I might add a couple patches. If you think it's ugly, you capping. Now my whole outfit matching. Never going out of fashion.
All right, the Padres swept by the Rays. Not a great weekend, but hopefully everybody is doing all right. It is a little bit past 10 o'clock at night here on a Sunday evening, Sunday night. I'm Ben Fadden. This is Talking Friars. Thank you for your time. Let's get right into it. It's not going to be a super long show today, and partly it's because I wasn't able to watch this series finale, so I'm not going to act like I knew everything that went on in this game. But from what I gathered was the offense, again, wasn't good enough, and the Padres beat themselves again, which happened the first two games as well. So really frustrating. Randy Vasquez today only goes 4 2/3. He had that wild pitch. At least it's logged as a wild pitch in the top of the fifth that I think ended his outing, if I'm not mistaken there. That made it 3-2 Rays. And the home run that was given up, too much of the plate, obviously. And then looks like the Rays got a run there in the top of the ninth, made it 4-2. But yeah, I mean, where's the offense is my initial question coming off of this series, and I think that's for a lot of people. And the offense is on the IL. Now, that's disrespectful to Manny and Tatis because obviously those two are very talented guys, and there's other guys in this lineup as well that help. But Jackson Merrill and Luis Ariz, Jake as well sometimes, but especially those two guys, they changed this Padres lineup. With Luis Ariz, with his ability to spray balls all over the field and get on base, and he's someone that helps lengthen the lineup as well. Jackson Merrill, the clutch gene or whatever you want to call it that guy has. It's clear that this team misses those guys. And so, when they're running out a lineup that has Gavin Sheets hitting second, with all due respect to him, he shouldn't be hitting second. And he wouldn't be. I guess I should rephrase that. Whatever, wherever he hits right now, but he's not a two-hitter, when guys are healthy. And they've got Xander with the 662 OPS hitting fourth in this lineup. And you've got a third-string center fielder in there in Tyler Wade, who's not an outfielder. He's an infielder. Can't expect much from the catching position offensively. You got Tirso Ornelas, who off to probably a rough start, I would say, to his big league career, but he just came up, and he's only up because of injuries. And you've got a guy that you signed to a minor league deal, Oscar Gonzalez, starting a lot of games in left field, and he's your 5-hitter right now. So there's just, when you have Ariz, you have Merrill, these pitchers have to make decisions. I mean, I guess they could attack everyone, Tatis, Ariz, Merrill, you could attack everyone, but it makes it really hard where I guess you have less decisions, I should say. That's probably the better way to say this. You have less decisions to make when these guys are healthy because you're going to walk Tatis just to go face Ariz. You're going to walk Ariz to face like Merrill. It's rough there. But here, there are decisions for the opponent because let's say, Manny's up. Oh, you don't want to have, Manny. There's 2 outs, let's say, and first base is open. Oh, you don't want Manny to hurt you, and you got Xander on deck. And then after that, it's Oscar Gonzalez or Tirso. Like these guys aren't going to be scaring opposing pitchers. So, yeah, disappointing. The Padres, I think it's fair to say that they beat themselves in some of these games, if not all of these games in this series. Yesterday in game 2, you had Dylan Cease not be able to locate well enough. He walked 4 guys. You have Xander drop a pop-up, and that guy, shocker, ends up coming around to score. 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Just not well-located pitches for Cease, and the Rays took advantage there, obviously. And then the offense just, not scoring run. Scored 1 run yesterday. No runs, obviously, and a 1-0 loss on Friday when they definitely had opportunities to come through there. And then today, 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position. Just not enough guys in scoring position. Not enough opportunities to come through with runners in scoring position. Game 1 of the series, Xander, talking about beating yourself, Xander with the throwing error on a play that he had time to make. And he made that play later in the game, by the way. Throwing error there, that runner ends up being the game-winning run. And he strikes out a couple times in the 3rd inning with runners on 1st and 3rd. Strikes out swinging there. And then in the 8th inning, in a crucial spot there, he strikes out looking. And Xander's not the only guy to blame, but there's the big contract. I don't have to go through this. We all know the situation, the big contract, and even if it was a smaller contract, we'd still want him to be performing more than what he's doing, producing more than what he is producing, I'm not letting the Padres offense off the hook for Friday, but Shane Baz, I mean, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's nasty. Like, that's a rough matchup. When you've got a bunch of guys on the IL, a bunch of your starters on the IL, not, again, like, more choices for a pitcher when you have those key guys not in the lineup. And even still, it felt like Baz, and just the Rays in general this weekend, went after these Padres hitters, regardless of who it was. And then you had some guys, some instances, one that sticks out to me yesterday, I think it was yesterday, Tatis, in a spot, I think it was late, pretty sure it was late in the game. I went over this in my post-game reaction yesterday, where, I think it was bases loaded. I forget the exact situation, but he strikes out, and it reminded me of some of his old at-bats where he was just expanding the strike zone. You knew exactly how you could attack him, how you could get him out, because he was going to go for it. He's going to go for that breaking ball, low and outside, because he thinks it's going to be a strike, and then it dips out of the zone, and he's just going to keep swinging at it. And that's what he did there, where he could have been patient, but it seemed like first pitch of that at-bat, he just thought, yeah, I'm swinging no matter what, essentially. And then he did the same thing the second pitch. And then the third pitch was nowhere close, so there was no decision for him. And then the third one got him. Just some disappointing at-bats. Maybe not the smartest at-bats at times. I don't want to totally tear apart this team. Like, still, there's 6 games over 500. And, yeah, I know a lot of that was when these guys were healthy, or most of these guys, right? Because the Padres have now lost, 7 of their last 9, I think? I think it was 6 of 8 going into today. And then with, obviously, this loss, you do that math. So, obviously, things are not going great. They're not playing good baseball. Their offense, it's a lot of it's on the IL. Like, that's just the truth. I wonder how a lot of teams in baseball would do if, and this is the facts, this is the reality the Padres face. How would other teams do if their starting center fielder, their backup center fielder, their starting left fielder, their starting second baseman, their starting first baseman, a couple starters, a couple relievers were on the IL? How would they be doing? So I think we got to put that into perspective as well. I know I'm a bit irritated tonight with, the Padres getting swept, just like probably a lot of Padres fans are, and those that are in the building as well. But I don't think that, I should have like this loud rant about this team and like totally tear into the team. Like, I'm expressing my disappointment, but this is not me like, season's over or anything like that. Like, it's some crappy circumstances right now. Injuries are part of it, though. and some nasty pitchers that you face. Reese Olson in that Tiger series, and then Baz to start this series. I think Pepio was, you know, he can be nasty at times, but it's the big leagues, and you're going to face a bunch of nasty pitchers. If you want to get where you want to be, you're going to face nasty guys pretty much every night out come October. So you got to be able to perform. Um, and there are some guys that should be probably performing better. And, Xander is one of them. I don't feel like, to be quite honest, going on a 10-minute, rant or anything about Xander. We all know the situation. It's just it's sad to watch. It's disappointing. Um, but again, if you have those super high expectations of him, that like, oh, he's going to hit 300, and where's the Xander that he was in Boston in 2019 or whatever year that was when he hit 30 homers, and it's like, that's not who he is. That was 6 years ago. We got to adjust our expectations. Should he be performing better? Yeah. I'm not even that mad about the home runs, to be honest. Like, sometimes that's depending on the pitch. Remember, if they weren't playing at Wrigley, he would have probably have a couple home runs on the year. I remember that series in the mid 40s where balls just weren't going out. Um, but, reality, the facts is he doesn't have any homers. But I don't think that should be harped on too much, to be quite honest. I think if you're going to harp on anything, it should be that he has an OPS of 662 and he has an average of 242. And he's not driving guys in. His last RBI, when was his last RBI? April 8th. So he's gone 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16 games with no RBIs. Now, guys have to get on, or he has to hit a home run to drive himself in. So some of it's based on circumstance, but he's had opportunities for sure, like he did on Friday. So just overall, crappy series, disappointing series. And yeah, now there's a day off. Thankfully, there's a lot of days off here for the Padres, and so that's less games that these guys will be missing. Yeah, and thank goodness for that start that they got off to, because imagine if they got off to like a 500 start, or even a couple games over 500, and then you lose 7 of 9, and where would they be? But they got off to a 15-5 start, and they're 6 games over 500, and they've lost 7 of 9. So yeah, they're playing bad, but thankfully they're not in a terrible spot still. And thankfully these injuries aren't happening in September. It's a long season. I know today's game counts the same as September 3rd, but the injuries, if you're going to have them at any point, you want them early in the season so that you have the time for those guys to be healthy and get back in the groove, um, for that stretch run. I think I saw this pointed out, I forget who, on social media today, I think it was today, about how, maybe one of the positives from this is that AJ and the Padres, they're getting to see, okay, who can perform and who can't. And so this can help maybe with their evaluation process, with what they need to acquire before the trade deadline. I know it's April, so that's kind of crazy for me to be mentioning the trade deadline, but I thought it was a good point by, again, apologies, whoever pointed that out. I don't think it was someone that I follow, so maybe that's why I just don't recall who said it. But I thought it was a good point that, yeah, like, now it's a smaller sample size for Tirso, but what is he going to do? Oscar, Connor Joe. Some of these guys aren't getting everyday playing time, or they're just starting to get consistent playing time, like Tirso, because he just got called up not too long ago. But it's an opportunity for these guys and for the Padres to be like, all right, is this a guy that can be on the bench for the rest of the year and help out this team? Or is he a AAA El Paso guy? Tyler Wade, I think, is helping his case to remain on the roster when, these guys someone gets sent down or DFA'd because it has to happen because there are guys that are going to be coming back. Um, yeah, he's someone that definitely stands out to me. I mean, Oscar, I think he's had some potential, but really Wade's the only guy that has stood out to me, unless I'm just totally forgetting someone. Connor Joe hasn't stood out to me. Mason McCoy, obviously limited playing time. Terso, there's the power potential, but if you're the Padres, would you rather have Lockridge on the bench? Would you rather have Hayward on the bench if someone else is starting in left field? Um, there are other options there. So we'll see. Um, Injury updates is something that I probably should mention. Let's see if are there any more updates here. The latest, I haven't been able to read everything, but Logan Gillespie exited yesterday's game with the oblique injury. Brian Hoeing was put on the 60-day IL. Yeah, Gillespie, pain that shot through his left oblique, 7th inning of Saturday's game. Pain unlike anything he'd ever experienced. Matt Waldron, remember, he has an oblique injury. In spring training, he has not yet progressed to rehab games. David Morgan was the guy that was called up. I saw this while I was working out this morning, and I was like, I literally stopped, and I'm like, to look up who this guy was because I'd never heard of this guy. But he came up from San Antonio, and you look at his numbers. His last outing wasn't great. He gave up, I think, 3 home runs, but all the other outings this year didn't give up any runs. So he was added to this bullpen to replace Gillespie. Good for Ryan Bergert, by the way, getting his first strikeout the other night. Morgan's fastball, by the way, sits 98, 99. Let me find those updates here. Merrill, by the way, I did see him. He was running the bases. He was swinging today at Petco Park. Merrill, Hayward, and Arise were both taking batting practice, doing some running this morning. So that was a good video to see there from Andy Hollebrun and Jeff Sanders. Merrill was doing some hamstring work, running backwards on the outfield grass there. Okay, here are the updates, at least the latest that I've seen from the UT. Sean Reynolds, reliever, he's working his way back. Rehab assignment with AAA El Paso. He completed a scoreless frame on Saturday. Where are the other updates? Sorry, wrong article that I clicked on. I think it's this one. Okay, Arise progressing. Luis Arise took grounders at first base Saturday afternoon in his most active day since entering concussion protocol following Sunday's collision. Saturday's pregame activity included running and hitting in the cage, all 3 of the symptoms that had slowed him since returning to San Diego, while the team finished the road trip in Detroit. Arise said, a lot of headaches. I just want to sleep. I don't want to see people around me, but the doctor says it's normal. Now I feel good. I'm excited to be here. I can't wait to get back. He'll need doctor's clearance to return, but he could return on Tuesday. That 2-game series, start of the 2-game series against the Giants before another off day before that 3-city road trip, Pittsburgh, New York, and Colorado starts. Mason McCoy dislocated his left pinky when he dove back into the base Friday when he got doubled off there. He's not on the IL, though, so it seems like he's playing through it. Jason Hayward, coming back from the knee soreness, knee inflammation, hit on the field for the first time on Friday. Again, hit today as well before the game. Was hopeful of shagging in the outfield on Saturday before rain canceled on-field batting practice. He ran the bases, did some agility drills during early work. Hayward can return from the injured list as soon as the start of the Giant series on Tuesday. This was Hayward a couple days ago. I haven't had any stops. I haven't had anything set me back. So, seems like that's good there. As for Merrill and Lockridge, the plan that I heard a few days ago, I thought from Schilt, was that they were going to send him to Arizona for like live BP, get some at bats. Don't know why they would do that for them and not for Hayward. So I'm not expecting Hayward to be activated on Tuesday, but I guess anything could happen. But yeah, those are the updates. I'm not seeing a Darvish update. Latest update I heard was that he was increasing the bullpens. Like, he had a breaking ball the other day in that 20-pitch bullpen, and there's probably going to be a couple more, I would think, before he goes into probably live BP sessions. But he didn't have much of a spring training, so it's going to take him some time to build up. You don't want to have him come back and throw 3 innings. You want to have him come back and, be a starter. So, yeah, I think those are the updates. Tatis, by the way, the highlight of today's game, I guess, was him throwing out the runner at home on that fly out to right, throw on the hop in the 7th inning. It was a 1-run game at the time, so that was huge. But then the Rays added on there in the 9th inning to make it a 2-run game. But, yeah, going into this Rays series, I thought it's going to be tough to score runs with this offense, and not just the offense, but credit to the Rays pitching, because the Rays pitching, that's their strong suit, it seems like every year. The offense was more of a question, and they only scored 1 run, and it was because of Xander's error, partly because of Xander's error on Friday. Scored 4 runs on Saturday, 4 runs today, but I don't know, the Rays offense, to me, it didn't seem that impressive. They capitalized on Padres mistakes, is what happened. So when you move on, I'll obviously get to the chat, questions, comments. I will get to the chat. But yeah, shout out to the great partners of this show, Gaglione Bros, famous cheesesteaks and garlic fries. Their main location is on Friars Road. They're inside Snapdragon Stadium. They're at Petco Park, section 124 down the third baseline, and section 319. Petco Park, the expanded menu is their Friars Road location, so you can check them out there. But they've got garlic fries, cheesesteak fries, cheese fries. They've got a lot of great stuff. Still, it's a smaller menu, smaller options, because there's usually long lines, because a lot of people love Gaglione Bros and can't blame them. But yeah, and when you walk by there, you can obviously smell it, and you're probably attracted to try to go get some. So yeah, check them out if you have not already. Freestyle Cut and Stitch, they are a San Diego jersey brand that I have recently partnered with. If you don't know much about them, you can look them up. Their website, freestylecutandstitch.com. They're on Instagram, Freestyle Cut and Stitch. Joe Musgrove, Jackson Merrill, they have personally bought from Freestyle Cut and Stitch. Like, they're definitely big fans of that brand. Profar, Kim last year with those basketball jerseys. Manny's worn them. I feel like all the guys, Tyler Wade, I feel like all the guys have worn them. Dylan Cease, they've worn them. Nick Martinez when he was with the Padres. Steven Wilson. So check them out. They've got a lot of great stuff over there. Freestyle Cut and Stitch. Maybe you can show your personality there, I think. It's a great way where if you're a fan of the brown and gold, okay, there's that. If you like the City Connect, there's that. I have the City Connect Musgrove one. If you like more of like throwback 98 colors, retro letters, there's that as well. So A lot of options. And then if you want customized things, you can reach out to Freestyle Cut and Stitch on their website, and they will try their best to make that happen for you. I know that they've done East Lake Little League. Um, I believe there's the Steven Wilson Chicago White Sox one, Nick Martinez. There might be the Cincinnati Reds one on there. There's SDFC Chucky Lozano, I believe, on the site. There's a couple San Diego State jerseys on there. So there's a good variety. So make sure to check them out. Again, what I love is that it's a San Diego brand. Gaglione Bros, San Diego shop. Freestyle Cut and Stitch, San Diego brand. Here, it's a born and raised San Diegan running it. Sean, great guy. So please support if you can. And then Breaking Tea, if you're not like a basketball jersey guy or a baseball jersey guy, there's just t-shirts and hoodies at Breaking Tea, Padres and Aztecs. A lot of Merrill stuff on Breaking Tea that's been released. Gavin Sheets, Holy Sheets. A couple of those shirts have been released. Nando Nukes was a recent one. So they got a lot of great stuff over there. And then SeatGeek code Talking Friars. By the way, code Talking Friars for Freestyle Cut and Stitch as well. You will get 10% off any future order with that code. And then for SeatGeek, you will get $20 off your first order signing up with your email. So you can get some discounted Padre tickets or SDFC or Wave, whatever. You can sign up with your email and then get a discount. I'm trying to help you out, so please use that to your advantage. All right. Let's get to the chat here. Thank you those that are live on YouTube. Tuning in here on this Sunday night. If you're listening or watching on Monday, hopefully your day's going better than Padres fans' weekends went, because that was not very fun. Yeah, Diego says this was not a good series whatsoever. Padres number 1 says 5th inning, missed strike, but that dumb umpire changed everything for this game and Randy. I wasn't watching, so I'll take your word for it. Was it a crappy call? John and Jim fighting, so I'm coming over here. Oh, shocker. Did Jim say something stupid? Still get to live in San Diego, so always a dub no matter what. That's a good way of looking at it. They're still 6 games over 500. It would be one thing if they lost 7 of 9 with everyone healthy. It's another when, there are guys that aren't going to be on this roster that are in the lineup. Ooh, M85 says he or she drove down from LA for Friday's game. Terrible performance. Yeah, I was at that one. That sucked. Yeah. No offense. Definitely had missed opportunities. Oh, we got Leon from Germany. Hey guys, greetings from Germany. Let's get the injured guys back and start winning again. The start of the season looks so promising. Well, that's the thing. Like, that's where, for me, it's easy to still stay positive about the team. Like, I can be frustrated, but I'm still optimistic about the team, because when they did have guys healthy, they were the best team in baseball. I know the talent that's in the rotation. I know the talent that's in the bullpen. And there's some talented guys that are on the shelf right now. So when you have those guys in the lineup, it's a different team. It just is. But thank you for tuning in. Germany. What's the time in Germany right now? Oh, okay. 7:36 a.m. All right. So you're waking up, having breakfast with me. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm gonna go to bed in a little bit. Let's see here. Dodger fans in the chat. Shocker. Don't have anything better to do on a Sunday night. Ray says sad, disappointed, frustrated, but we still have a very good record. It was very good. I think 6 games over 500 isn't a very good record, but it's very good, I guess, considering the circumstances. The team's not playing very good though, if that makes sense. This Giants series coming up should be pretty interesting. 2 games. The Giants, they're 19-10, first place in the NL West. One of the best records in baseball, if not the best. And it's going to be tough. They got Logan Webb. We got Pivetta, though, so that's nice. But Logan Webb against Nick Pivetta on Tuesday, 6:40, and then on Wednesday, 1:10. Roop, don't know who that is. We got Michael King. So we got Pivetta and King. We got to, after getting swept, you'd love to take both, but if you lose the Logan Webb game, win the second game, I don't think that's the end of the world. Don't lose both. We can't be losing 9 of 11. Diego says, I hope after Yuli is DFA'd, the team adds Rosario to the 40-man. Would be nice to add a power bat in the lineup. Also, calling up Campy and moving him to a DH role might be what he and the team need. Well, with Campy, I feel like they still want him to be catching consistently, and he wouldn't be doing that at the big league level. And I would think like someone like Eggy would be a DH option first because he still has versatility to play other spots. I don't think they want someone to come up and just DH. I'm not saying Campy like couldn't go play first or something like that, but I don't think they trust Campy very much. Like, there's a reason why he didn't make the opening day roster. And Sullivan's off, right? He's not in the organization anymore. So Campy's like the El Paso catcher now. They're going to ride with the offense that they have, especially when the guys that come back, best team in baseball, best record in baseball, when those guys were healthy. So they're going to stick with that because Diaz and Maldonado have been solid behind the plate this year. Offensively, you can complain, but like the Padres, they're going to prioritize the defense and the pitcher relationships, the game calling, the arms, the ability to throw guys out, which we've seen this year. They're going to prioritize that over the potential of Luis Camposano. That's just how it is. And I'm totally fine with that. I would rather have them do that. Yeah, you're right, Diego. David Peralta's still a free agent. Sure would be nice to add that bat to this lineup. Better than nothing. But I assume that the Padres have offered him a minor league deal and he just didn't take it. He may just be waiting to see after the deadline who needs him, what are the contending teams, and then sign. Because why sign now when it's, I'm not saying late because it's not late in the season, but we're well into the season now. And why would you sign now? You've waited this long. You've got paid millions of dollars over your career. Why would you sign and then risk maybe being on a team that's not going to be in contention? Because they have a bad month of June or a month of May. You know, maybe that's where his head is at. But he could sign a minor league deal, right? And then have opt outs before the deadline if he's not at the big league level. Sign with a contending team, play in AAA if that's where they want to have him, perform. You know, at least you're playing in games. So we'll see what happens there. Ray says, I agree, Ben. The team needs to give players a chance to see what needs we have at the trade deadline. I also should add to decide if we are buyers or sellers too. We'll know end of June. Yeah, but like to me, it's really hard to imagine this team being sellers because when these guys come back, they won't be losing 7 of 9. Like, I'm confident in this team still. And last year of Cease, last year of King, last year of Suarez potentially, like they haven't gotten the job done yet. The job, like, get to the World Series, win the World Series. Hasn't happened. So you're gonna sell? I just don't see it happen. Jason says, love the content you put out. Hoping all our guys get healthy soon. A lot of baseball left to be played. We'll be okay. Go Pods. Thank you, Jason. Kind words. Appreciate it. Yeah. Obviously, that's what we're waiting on is us guys, us Padres fans waiting for these guys to be healthy. What's wrong with Dodger fans in your chat? Like you guys drop by on Dodger podcasts? I've never dropped in on Dodger podcasts to be in the comments. Like, what? So I don't know what you're talking about. You can be in them, but it I like communicating with Padre fans, and I don't know, I just think it's a little weird to be in a pod. It's not like I get it if like Padres played the Dodgers this weekend. Padres played the Rays. Why are you in here? I mean, it's a view, it's comment, so I appreciate it, but just a little weird to me. We can't buy, we have no prospects. Isn't that what people have said like for years now? But then the Padres still continue to get Tanner Scott and Jason Adam, those type of guys at the deadline. So, it, there's time. There's time. Guess what? Some people may think, oh, Padres farm system, not that strong, but it could look better months from now when guys are performing consistently for months and months. Like this guy that just got called up today, I already forgot his name, David Morgan, that's who it is, right? I'd never heard of him, but if he did that consistently, you don't think another team would like to have that type of guy? So the system could look differently months down the road. All right. I think that's going to do it. Talking Friars here. Padres swept by the Rays. Was not expecting that for sure going into the weekend. I know that we're down bad with injuries, but holy cow. Offense, some of it's on the IL, but also the Padres did beat themselves this series.